Look at this, Ethereum is heavily outperforming Bitcoin, but some crypto well doesn't like it and just created a huge sell wall above us. Can we break it? I will reveal to you the next targets in this video.
My crypto paradise.
Hello ladies and gentlemen of the Paradise Club, this is Simon from My Crypto Paradise. Welcome back, great to have you here. A fresh week ahead of us. Let's have a look at Ethereum and Bitcoin. So first of all, let's remind us, since 16th of May, basically around 10 days ago, we have been analyzing Ethereum and I have shared with you the most probable trajectory. This is not a crypto signal, ladies and gentlemen, this was just our trading idea. But let's have a look what happened. As you can see, we have touched exactly that level. Together we have been analyzing exactly why this level will be working perfectly, and then there was confirmations for a rally to the upwards, and as you can see we have made around 17% from this level right here. In the latest video that I have recorded for you just few days ago, we have been also looking at lower time frame. This is the 4 hour, just updated the target right here, but then we have been updating 1 hour time frame, ladies and gentlemen, and I have told you that these are the next major resistances on that low time frame. Okay, so we are differentiating from ultra high time frame, medium time frame, and this was low time frame. Then we have also ultra low time frame. That's where we play with high leverage in our ParadiseTeam VIP scalping membership. But once again, if I analyze here ultra low time frame or any time frame, it doesn't mean that I'm telling you where to buy or sell. This is not ParadiseTeam VIP membership where we share our personal trade setups with a precise entry and exit targets with a proper strategy and system. Money management which is focused on long-term growth, not getting rich quick. Okay, what I'm talking about here is only what I see right now and the probabilities of the bulls versus bears. It doesn't mean to short or long. There are no confirmations for that. I'm not telling you any entry or exit targets. So if you are not in our ParadiseTeam VIP and you are trading on your own, make sure that in your system there is an edge that you have backtested at least by 3 years of trading performance. Make sure that there is an edge that makes you profitable, because everything else what you do in the short run is just pure luck. Okay, and as a gambler, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. It doesn't mean if you're a successful or unsuccessful trader. That will show in the time. So please make sure that if you are trading on your own, make sure that you have a great strategy with an edge, otherwise you are just gambling and sooner or later you will join the crypto noobs and get your portfolio wiped out. Okay, so we have been analyzing these two resistance levels, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see on low time frame, what happened is exactly a perfect retest of this first low time frame resistance level. Okay, and today we will be talking about the probabilities of going higher towards this resistance level and what can happen in the meantime. So let's also take a look at Bitcoin. You know that since January 30 I have turned bearish on Bitcoin. We have been selling with ParadiseTeam VIPs our spot holdings above $100,000. After that Bitcoin perfectly crashed. I've also shared with you the probabilities in these videos, the analysis. I've been sharing that with you all the time, right? And then we have bottomed exactly at that $77,000 that I have been predicting. Then I have turned a little bit bullish. We have got the recovery rally. I thought the $93,000 will be much stronger, but we have went above it. But still, I'm not touching Bitcoin. Okay, you know that I'm full-time on the decoupling Bitcoin versus Ethereum. I do believe that the major cycle of Bitcoin is already over, and even though we can have the extended ABC correction, ladies and gentlemen, and since the January 30 I do updating you about that we are having an ABC, right? However, sometimes the B waves can exceed the top of the previous impulse. The same thing what happened in 2021, right? The major cycle was already finished. The same way we have been with ParadiseTeam VIPs accumulating right here, we have been selling right here. The same thing happened in 2022. We have been accumulating right here, holding, then we have sold everything on spot. All right, since then I'm not touching Bitcoin, but I'm touching Ethereum, because I do believe, as I've shared with you in the previous videos, that Ethereum can go much higher before any bigger correction other than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is slowing down, ladies and gentlemen. We can go a little bit higher. I do believe that $240,000, that is the target that we will hit by the end of 2026. All right, but before that I do believe that that we will have a correction towards $44,000, and then by the end of 2026 we will hit $240,000. What is, however, important to understand right now, we are in the extended B wave, alright, wave A, B, C of the idealized corrective wave. Sometimes the B wave can exceed the start of the A wave, ladies and gentlemen, and because of that we will be with the Paradise team updating you about the most important targets in between of the current price and $240,000 that will help you to understand where the B wave can be slowing down. Alright, so in this channel, My Crypto Paradise, free on Telegram, links are in the description of this video. After we have updated our target $77,000 in this free quick alert update, we have not done a new update just yet, but this week we will be sharing with you a new update with the targets that will help you to understand where the Bitcoin can be slowing down, where is the next resistances in this zone. By the way, from the previous all-time high in 2021, the Bitcoin created the corrective mode wave ABC right here, right? That also helped us to understand that this is just a corrective mode wave, not a start of a new impulse that will take us higher, right? So something similar we are waiting for in this price action. And what is interesting to keep in mind is that the Bitcoin, how much percentage it went above the previous high, okay? Above the previous high, here was the top at around $64,000, all right? And then Bitcoin pumped 6% more, and then we had major correction. I don't believe that towards $44,000 it will take us so long, and then basically sideways nothing movement. I do believe it will be much faster, and then we will move by the end of 2026 towards $240,000. Why $240,000? I will be updating you how I came up with this target in the next videos, so make sure you smash the like button so then you get a notification about the upcoming video. So back to Ethereum, let's have a look what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, behind the scenes. So basically what is important to understand, what's going on with the limit orders on spot versus futures exchange, okay? So right now, right here, we are taking a look at the futures exchange, and basically we can see up to $2,700 there is these big salvos, okay? They are worth millions and millions of dollars. On the spot exchange we can see that at $2,700 there is a limit order for around 4,200 Ethereums, okay? So big one as well. So we can understand that from both perspectives of Binance futures exchange and also spot exchange, the level around 2,700 is very important, and it will be a tough nut to crack. However, as we can see right now, the funding rates and the buying versus selling pressure is still favoring a potential breakout, right? So we need to monitor, however, the buy versus sell pressure, because it can anytime start to change, all right? So what we are waiting for is the reaction of $2,700. It will be very important to see how we can start getting or not getting rid of that sell walls at around $2,700, ladies and gentlemen. Together with that, we can see right here by looking at the order book suit that we need to be careful, because as you can see on the order book suit, when we are analyzing the limit versus buy limit orders execution, we can see that the limit sell orders are increasingly getting executed, all right? Together with that, if we take a look at the CVD plus, we can see buy market orders are coming in. What does it mean? Somebody is distributing the price, but somebody else is pushing the price of the Ethereum higher. But it's a market buying pressure, and as you know from the previous videos, market buying is usually created by the small fishes. The big boys usually work only with limit orders because they are handling just too much money, and if they would be buying with market orders, basically they are getting loads of slippage and would be moving the market, which they don't want to do, all right? So from this understanding we can understand what's going on behind the scenes, and let's take a look what happened right here in 23 of May. You can see that we have also got an increase of the sell limit order triggering, but together with that we have got increased buy market orders, all right? So buy market orders being actually helping distributing the Ethereum of the big boys, and voila, then we started to drop lower. However, it took some time, as you can see, for the distribution to be finished. So right now, even though we are at the similar highs as we have been right here, it doesn't mean that the crypto Ethereum needs to crash immediately, right? It will take some time and we need to watch exactly what's going on real time behind the scenes so we can take immediate action. At the moment, we are just cautious, so some profit taking, moving stop loss to break even, etc. These kind of defensive tactics that you have inside of your trading system, inside of your trading strategy that you are working with is required, absolutely, because we understand that until we can reclaim the $2,700 where you can see the sell was above us right here as well on another exchange, we are in a dangerous territory, also by understanding that somebody big is actually distributing and somebody else, aka retail, is providing the liquidity for the distribution. But let's take a look at our charts because there is something that can actually help us to get much more insights into what's going on right now. Let me shift to daily time frame, ladies and gentlemen. You know that from ultra high time frame and high time frame we are bullish on Ethereum because we do expect that we will hit $3,000, and there are a few reasons for it. First of all, we need to understand what I have been talking about in the previous videos. We have finished the bear trend in my opinion, and because right now we have recognized a new impulse early, I do believe that from the higher degree perspective we are creating a new impulse, ladies and gentlemen, that will take us towards $19,000 by the end of 2026. Again, about this target, how did I get $19,000? I will be recording a separate video where I explain to you both the $200,000 for Bitcoin and $19,000 for Ethereum by the end of 2026. But much earlier, I do believe Ethereum can actually hit $9,000. So right now, from the higher degree perspective, we are creating the first motive mode wave of our higher degree impulse, alright? And where we at in this first wave? Well, I do believe we are right here, okay? We are creating a first smaller degree motive mode wave, which is taking a form of impulse itself. And it subdivides itself into 5 smaller waves. Let's check it out therefore. As you can see, this was our first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave that we have successfully understood that is being formed in expanded triangle, finished right here. Well, and right now I do believe that we are in the final fifth wave that can take us towards $3,400, ladies and gentlemen. And as you know, the fifth wave is also a motive mode wave and subdivides itself into 5 smaller waves as well. So I do believe right here, as you can see, we have created the first wave, second wave right here that got beautifully stopped exactly at our 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level right here. As you can see, we have got a nice wick out by bottoming exactly at this support, created a bullish hammer candlestick pattern. You know this one very well, right? It is a nice indication for a reversal. Just add into your probability points system. So when you get more bullish signs, you are just putting more bullish points to your probability system. When you get some bearish sign, you decrease the points, etc. Based on that, then you can understand how much of a risk can you take on your trading idea. This is one of the ways of how to do professional trading. You are just calculating the points you have in your probability point system, and based on that you are making not only the trading decisions but also how much you are risking in your trading decisions, okay? Because sometimes you risk a lot when the probabilities are greatly on your side. Sometimes you risk a little when the probabilities are not that great on your side. Sometimes you are not trading at all because basically there is nothing that in your trading strategy has an edge for your trading system. So sometimes the hardest position is no position at all, right? Sometimes you need to go through a patience cycle, not doing anything or waiting for the right setup to appear, or just sitting on your hands while you are in your position, basically letting the profits ride and cutting the losses fast, right? So all of this is very important for your long-term profitability, ladies and gentlemen. And this bullish hammer candlestick pattern is also a great sign when you are seeing it at the bottom. Together with that, we have been retesting this moving average trend line, but this is a problem of the ascending trend line because we are just below it. However, as you can see, the RSI that I have been explaining in the previous video is having a similarities with what happened in November 2024, right? We have also got the same structure that I have been updating you about in the previous video, and then we have rallied by around another 30%, ladies and gentlemen. And as you know, the 33% is actually playing very nicely towards our target. Basically, I've been updating you about that in the previous video as well, from exactly this price where we had the same structure right here on the RSI indicator with what happened previous week. It was exactly 33%, and it confluences with the resistance that we have been individually analyzing on the market. So this is just a confluence that synergizes with the trading idea and just put in some probability points in that trading idea, and based on that we are playing the market. So it just adds up to the probabilities that for a great way of reasons we believe $3,300 will be hit, and that will be the higher degree first wave. Then we will have a second wave, and then we will start the third wave in our higher degree impulse that I believe will take us towards $9,000. So what we can see right here, the problem of being below the ascending trend line, it doesn't actually need to be a problem. As soon as we can overcome this ascending trend line that previously worked as a support, now it will be working as a resistance, because it's from the Elliott wave theory. It's just a throw under, and you understand, if you deeply understand Elliott wave theory, that the rule, the guideline of alternation is basically saying that when you have a throw under on the secondary wave, then not only the third wave will be very aggressive, but also the final fifth wave will have a throw over, okay? And then you can really shape your decision making when you exit or enter new positions. So it's a great thing to play with. However, firstly, we need to reclaim this ascending trend line. Right now, it's working as a resistance, and Ethereum is getting a little bit scared, all right? Let's, however, zoom in. Let's take a look what's going on right here, and let's understand the probabilities of reclaiming the $2,700 right now. So let's zoom in to medium time frame, ladies and gentlemen. Right here, we can see a beautiful inverted head and shoulders pattern. This is a great, best actually trend reversal pattern that if you can successfully find on the market, once again it can provide you with a great edge if you know how to trade it properly with a tight stop loss and great targets. So by the way, the targets we will analyze, first of all, let's have a look at the trend line which we have, right? This is one of the guidelines that you need to have. We have the trend line. Do we have the neckline? This one, neckline that is connecting the left shoulder, the right shoulder. Do we have it? Let's have a look. One shoulder right here, right shoulder right here, and here we have the head. So absolutely beautiful. And then how do we calculate the target? Well, if you are educating yourself on our website micro2paradise.com and you are in our MCP free university, which you should take, it's for free, and you should read everything we post before you start trading yourself, okay? You know how to analyze the targets. So you basically take the depth of the head, you put it back to the neckline, and basically then you put it to the breakout point and you get the target, all right? So this is exactly what I have done. Bank 4%, I put it to the breakout point, and it shows me a beautiful target, which is, by the way, right below that magical $2,700, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So this is actually creating a zone for us, and I can put here a box, and from the trading perspective, we can understand that this is going to be working as a resistance. And as you can see, we are already getting some kind of rejection exactly from that target, ladies and gentlemen. Let's zoom in a little bit on a lower time frame, on 1 hour time frame chart, ladies and gentlemen, to see what's really going on. As you can see, previously we had the head and shoulders pattern right here, as you remember from the previous videos. However, it got extended. We have got a nice deviation below our support zone. That was very nice deviation that got rid of crypto noobs that are trading without confirmations, with high leverage. So we have got rid of them, and then we started to create a higher degree inverse head and shoulders pattern. Here's once again the left shoulder, here's the right shoulder, here's the head, and then we started to break above, and the confirmations are few, right? So basically one of the confirmations is a reclaim of the moving average trend line, then the neckline, and then also the trend line, and we have got all of this, and we have hit, thanks to that, our resistance, the first target I have been sharing with you in the previous video. And at the moment on 1 hour time frame, what can we see? Well, first of all, let's understand the price development, okay? So this was our higher degree first wave. We have been analyzing that it subdivided itself into 5 smaller waves perfectly. Then we have got a secondary corrective wave ABC right here. Well, and right now we are starting the third wave, right? This was the first wave, second wave, and right now we are in a third wave. So how can we understand when the third wave will end up and when we can start a corrective fourth wave and then a final fifth wave. Well, first of all, we understand that we are at a resistance right now, so that's giving some pressure to the third wave. Then we understand that from the guidelines, the third wave cannot be the smallest wave, which isn't anymore, alright? So there is a possibility for a correction, and from the Elliott wave perspective, it would be absolutely alright. So we have a resistance, we have a higher and longer wave than the first wave, so correction is possible, it doesn't disregard the Elliott wave theory. Then some other resistances. So for example, we can analyze the price action of this first wave and we can see that we are touching actually 1.61 Fibonacci retracement level, which is given another pressure for Ethereum, right? Together with that, if you zoom in with me, you can actually see a shooting star, okay? And sometimes it's also called an inverted hammer candlestick pattern. And the same way, this hammer candlestick pattern at bottoms can actually help us to understand that there is going to be a price reversal. At tops, it can help us to understand, it basically gives the probability points for the possibility of a reversal from the bull trend to a bear trend. Once again, it doesn't mean that we are shorting aggressively right here. We are not having confirmations yet. We are also turning this resistance into support, so there would be needed some nice drop below, reclaim, and then we can say, however, because we understand that from the higher degree perspective, the Ethereum is bullish, we are not looking for short signals at all, okay? We are not shorting altcoins and Ethereum at all in this market. We are just looking for the buying opportunities. So right now, what I want to see is either a reclaim of the $2,700, ladies and gentlemen. That means a break, retest of the $2,700, and then I can say with the highest probability that we can start going to the next resistance right here. Or if we will get rejected and we are watching exactly what's going on in the real time behind the scenes with the whales, what they are doing exactly. If you start getting rejected, ladies and gentlemen, the next support, where is going to be the next support? I do believe that it is going to be the fourth wave that usually ends at around the top of the first wave. So one nice area to start looking for some fresh longs will be around $2,500, ladies and gentlemen. Together with that, if this was the top, we can also analyze the Fibonacci sequence and we can see that it nicely confluences with the $2,500 something. So this would be actually some kind of a nice level because it's the top of the first wave, also a Fibonacci retracement level. We are also above the previous very nice support, right? So this will be some kind of a level I will be looking at. We also have the VPVR right here. Of course, I want to see some bullish divergence on our oscillators, on all of them. The best way, the more oscillators having bullish divergence, the bigger probability for the play out, right? And that will really determine if we gonna take it or not. However, both of the ways really will take us toward 2,825, ladies and gentlemen. So either we can go right here, we will create a fourth wave right here at the $2,500, and then we will create the final fifth wave right here, or we can start pushing through the $2,700, ladies and gentlemen, and we will actually extend this third wave, all right? This third wave will end right here. Well, and then I believe that the fourth wave will transform this resistance into support and the fifth wave will be higher. So I will keep you updated about everything, ladies and gentlemen. You know that I'm recording every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. In the next video, I will also cover for you Ethereum and Bitcoin, which is looking extremely nice. Ethereum Bitcoin chart, ladies and gentlemen, and really helps us to understand where to buy and where to sell altcoins. So I will be updating this for you as well. Until then, take care, trade smart, and I will see you next time. Cheers.